Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it is Monday, May 18th, and it is 9:42 p.m. Eastern Time. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to get us caught up on the Q posts. In fact, I've got all the Q posts up until tonight, as of, well, a few minutes ago anyway. Maybe Q has continued to post, I don't know, but I will bring us up as current as I can get. And I also have another video prepared, but going through this is probably going to take me 2 videos, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the news video tonight or not, but if I don't, then I will bring that to you tomorrow. All right, well, let's get started here, and I do have a couple people to thank. Just one coffee donor, Xander's Best Virtual Buddy, and I love that name, Xander's Best Virtual Buddy. All right, well, yes, I think Xander has touched a lot of people's hearts out there, because it seems to me that people like to hear about Xander or like to see him, pass by a little bit on the back of the chair here. Anyway, also Patreon, Brenda Batty increased her pledge, and thank you so much. It all helps because this channel is not monetized and there is no advertisements on this at all. So I do depend on, donations and Patreon subscribers and so forth. So I'm appreciative of those of you that do contribute, and the rest of you, I figure you don't contribute because you've got good reason not to, and it could be financial, and I am completely okay with that because I know people are struggling and having a very difficult time during this time, and I never want people to feel obligated at all. You are always welcome here, whether you contribute or not, whether you're just lurking and being silent, you're still welcome here. So anyway, let's get into the Q posts, and I'm going to try to keep this going at a steady clip so that I can get through all these because we've got a lot to get through. Okay, so we are now on drop 4244. This seems like deja vu to me because I attempted to do this not yesterday but the day before and only got about halfway through it because I was feeling so sick. So it seems like I've already done this, but I know I haven't. At least you guys haven't seen it. So let's get going here. This says, more stupid gimmicks, face shield to keep you scared and controlled. Yes, that's exactly it. And we're going to go out and look at this. And Q says fear, division, dependency, control. Q. Let's go see what Q is talking about here. Well, seems like he's talking about this. This futuristic face shield is a serious upgrade from a bandana face mask. Yeah, okay. Well, and this was created by a team of Toronto-based inventors. I think probably they could have put their good skills to better use, but hey, this is a bio VYZR is designed to filter pathogens, allergens, and pollutants while also shielding your personal space. I'm so sick of hearing about personal space and self-distancing or social distancing and self-quarantining and social distancing. I'm so really sick of it. But anyway, for those of you who aren't, here's a mask for you. Yeah, can't imagine how much this would cost. Also, you would look ridiculous walking around in this, so why bother? But then you've seen some of the masks that people are wearing. Coconuts, I kid you not. Maxi pads, I mean, really? But that's what they're doing. I mean, they're just using anything. So I guess this is an upgrade from that. But that's what they want. They want us to be so afraid that they can control us through this virus. And that's exactly what they're doing. They want us to be afraid. They want us to, fear being outside, fear other people. It keeps you very isolated and alone. And it keeps people from talking about things that really matter. Anyway, let's go back now. And Q says fear, division, dependency, control. And that's what that's all about. but you won't see me wearing one of those anytime soon or ever. All right, and let's go on now. We're on drop 4245. Texas doctor explains how, and you may say whatever you will. I know that somebody said, oh, that's ridiculous that you don't mention the name of the drug because other channel. I don't care what other channels do. I really don't. This is my channel, and I know that, they are watching my channel. I know that I am censored deeply. My numbers are censored, everything. So, yeah, I don't say this word right here, the drug. I don't say that for a reason, because they've got algorithms that search that out. They don't want people knowing about it. So, Texas doctor explains how the drug, treatment, cure, improves CV patients in 5 hours. 5 hours. Imagine, how soon would this pandemic be over if everyone was given this? 5 hours. That's how long. 5 hours. So let's go out and take a look at this, and let's look at, first we're going to take a look at this. And says, well, we're going to listen to this in its entirety. It's 2 minutes and 3 seconds long, and I'm going to play it for you.
So the prescription cost $13, and I had so many very, very sick patients in the office. And so now today was horrible because I treated 15 people that needed 15 prescriptions, could not go there, had to swarm all over Dallas to try to get these prescriptions. In fact,
and Dr. Lozano, really quickly, do you find good results giving hydroxychloroquine to mild to moderate patients? Do you find good results?
I have severe patients in the office. I have patients that have been diagnosed with pneumonia and been turned away from clinics. I've got patients that have been turned away from hospitals. I've got patients coming in with temperatures of 102.9, white blood cell counts of 17,000, all positive COVID tests. Their physicians are refusing to give them medication for fear that they are going to be in trouble with the licensing board. And now the issue we have now is we've got pharmacists that are refusing to fill this medication. And so this is critical now. I have a huge problem on my hand. I have patients that are coming in from Austin, Houston, San Antonio. These are not my patients.
Ridiculous. Yeah, this is. But just back to the question really quickly. It's working in patients that you've treated, that you've been able to prescribe it to, correct?
Every patient that I've treated, serious, moderate, has had resolution of symptoms within 24 hours. They are improved within 5 hours. The fevers are gone within 2 days. The lung restriction, which is the most important, resolves within about 4 to 5 hours. You see dramatic improvement. It's incredible. I'm surprised myself.
Dr. Lozano, I hope the FDA is watching this. People's lives are on the line because of these restrictions, or these warnings, I should say, because it's trickling down to the pharmacies and the pharmacies board. You educated a lot of people with this segment tonight. Thank you for explaining it to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I just want to add to this. I don't know if you guys were watching today, but Donald Trump, during the press briefing, was asked whether he was on the drug, and he said, yes, I am. And he had been for a couple weeks. It was prescribed to him by the White House doctor. Well, you would think that President Trump had told everyone to go home and drink camel urine, because the horror, it was like you could tell the how it was affecting people. And then right after on Fox, Neil Cavuto comes on and starts warning everybody. Oh, people are dying from taking the drug. Oh, it's awful. Don't follow his advice. It boggles my mind. All right. So let's go back here and finish with what Q is telling us here. So, says, listen carefully. Why are possible treatments or cures being banned? Well, first of all, because they work. And second of all, because they're cheap and nobody can line their pockets with the cure. Gee, it would be awful to have this virus and not be able to make money from it, wouldn't it? Gee, isn't that what they want, the deep state? $1,000 for a pill? As opposed to, what, less than $10 for a prescription here in Canada? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, why are the treatments and cures being banned? Because they work and because they're cheap. That's why. They want the numbers high so that gives them an excuse to have mail-in ballots, to keep the country closed down, to wreck the economy, to bankrupt everyone, which is what's happening. I have read so many stories about small businesses going completely under, and they said, okay, I give up. I can't do it anymore. Look, I can't do it. Their whole, people who's put their lives into their business, it's their dream. It's gone now. Nobody can stay closed forever. Anyway, why are possible treatments, cures being attacked? Well, for the same reason. They've got to keep that narrative going that, oh, gee, those treatments and cures are really dangerous. They're really dangerous. Don't take those. Even though the drug has been around for 40 years, has FDA approval, and it's one of the most popular drugs in America. Why? Because if you have lupus, you're on it. A lot of people with rheumatoid arthritis are on it. But all of a sudden, it's so dangerous? Really? Why are possible treatments, cures being targeted? Well, it's the same. Why are they being targeted? They don't want people taking it. They want the numbers high. They want a lot of deaths. They want to keep the country shut down. They want to wreck the economy. They want to bankrupt as many people as they can to really put a stake in the heart of the economy. And they want to have mail-in ballots. They want to sell the world sell the Americans anyway, that it's too, you can't go and vote. Oh, sure, you can go and stand in a lineup at Walmart, yeah, or you can go and stand at a lineup at the grocery store, and why aren't all the people that are so-called essential workers, why aren't they all coming down sick? I mean, they're the ones that are risking their lives out there on the front lines, the cashiers and the people that work in the grocery stores and the people that deliver fast food. They're the ones that are constantly coming into contact with people. Why aren't all of those people dying? I'm just saying. It doesn't make any sense. They are trying to sell us a narrative that doesn't exist. It only exists in their minds because they've made it so. All right. Evidence overwhelming? Oh, yes, the evidence is very overwhelming. How do you keep people living in fear? Exactly how they're doing. How do you keep people divided? Well, I don't know if the country has ever been more divided, except maybe in the Civil War. I don't know a time when America has ever been as divided as it is now. How do you justify vote by mail? Oh, it's don't go out. You'll get COVID. If you go vote, I mean, you can go stand in a line at Walmart or go get yourself some fast food, but my gosh, don't vote. You'll die. Everybody's going to die if they vote. Anyway, how do you justify state bailouts? Yeah, and notice the states needing the biggest bailouts are all blue states. How do you make people starve? Dependent on government. Yeah, you keep them dependent on government. That's how you starve them. How do you justify anything non-COVID related to be a political attack? FISA unmask? How do you create a diversion? How do you shift the narrative? How do you kill POTUS economic gains? Well, I think that they've done a very good job of that. How do you kill POTUS unemployment records? Again, they've done a very good job of that because there are more people unemployed in America right now than ever. How do you prevent POTUS rallies? Well, I guess nobody is going to crowd themselves into a stadium if everyone says there's this deadly virus that's going to kill us all. How do you delay U.S.-China trade negotiation? Prevent fixed billions clawback? How do you shelter Biden from debates? well, he doesn't want to go out. He might get the virus because he's in that vulnerable age group, although he's not that much older than Trump, who seems to be doing just fine. He doesn't wear a mask or anything. Why doesn't he just take some of the drug prophylactically? Why doesn't Biden do that? Well, that would destroy their narrative, wouldn't it? Yes. How do you delay the Democrat Party convention? Why is pushing the convention closer to Election Day necessary? Oh, because they're planning on unleashing a surprise on us. Surprise! Oh, yeah. You don't think, really, they're going to run with Joe Biden? Joe Biden doesn't have a chance. And even if he did have a chance, he's not going to, whoever is his vice president would be the president. And somebody told me that he's looking at Stacey Abrams. And my gosh, I don't know what it is with the press, but they love that woman. They love her. And I don't get it. I don't get it. All right. And where am I? Okay. Oh, yes. Why is pushing the convention closer to Election Day necessary? Because they intend on springing a surprise on us. And it says, how do you change out Democrat Party candidate option? Well, if they push it closer and then all of a sudden they announce that this is the new front runner, then yeah, it's a little late then. How do you install medical advisors, sky is falling, POTUS into endorsement or face worldwide medical science media full assault? Is this about the election or the virus? The election. Who benefits the most? The Democrats. Time to end the horror show? I hope. Time to select science advisors? Yes, the science advisors need to go. Because they have their own narratives that they are wanting to push. Time to select government controls by legal challenge. Time to stand. Q. Now, let's look at this. Now, this is what Lisa Mae Crowley says. She says pharmacists demanding patients' diagnosis to fill the drug prescriptions, all being done because it works. And we would end this pandemic hoax. This is their last stand. Biden is done pushing DNC convention to last minute so HRC or Michelle Obama can run. End this sham now. And Sun Q2 says, Q once again asks the question, what's the real motivation behind the deep state pushing fear of COVID? If a combination of drugs works to help a person who has CV feel better after 5 hours, the pandemic would end overnight. It would. Because it seems to me that it works on everyone. That's what doctors that are actively using it are saying, that everyone improves on this drug. So power, control, fear, deep state has no other weapons to use against POTUS at this point. It is time to terminate blue state democratic control of the population by legal challenge. It's time to terminate the influence of these frauds who call themselves scientists. It is time to hold them all to account. Americans are sick and tired of the lies. We are sick and tired of the silent war. We are ready to see an all-out assault on the deep state to expose their lies. Q reminds us, you can't just tell them, you have to show the public the truth. All right. Now we're going to move on from there, and we are on drop 4246. We know Democrats and their controllers are using CV to sink the economy and harm POTUS. Well, of course they are. And he leaves a link here, and I have clipped this out for your viewing pleasure. Harlan Z. Hill, no president has been reelected with an unemployment rate as high as ours today, with the exception of FDR in 1936. If you are a Donald Trump supporter, as I am, this should further motivate you to get the economy back open now. We win or lose by the economy. And Harlan Z. Hill is responding to an earlier post that he tweeted. We are committing economic suicide. Absolutely we are. And Q says, sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. Q. So true. And let's come down to the next. And we are on drop 4247. 4247. Look at how Democrats enabled the spread of CV in the USA and want it to continue. They sure do, because it suits their plans. They don't care about anybody that dies. They don't care about the American death toll or anything else concerning this. They don't. They just care about being in power. That's what they care about. So Q asks, why did Democrats push everything is fine narrative early on? Example, Pelosi in Chinatown. And they did. They did. They even have videos showing these guys. I mean, nobody thought it was going to be a big deal. Nobody did. They all poo-pooed it. And, you know, when Trump shut down the travel from China, oh my gosh, he was called every name in the book. Why did Science Board push no need to close China travel narrative early on? Well, why do you think? They wanted it to spread. That was their plan. Why did select governors push CV positive elderly patients into nursing homes most at risk, proven when surplus of availability in hospitals plus USNS Comfort? Yeah, why did Governor Cuomo put the ill patients into nursing homes? Why? To kill them? Because that's what he did. He not only killed them, he killed healthy people that were in the nursing homes. Because they caught it. Because they're the most susceptible. They wanted to make sure they caught it. It's disgusting. Absolutely, positively disgusting. Why are CDC numbers conflating CV deaths with influenza, pneumonia, and other? Yeah, have you noticed? If you look at the statistics for the flu, you'll notice that the flu, people dying of the flu is at an all-time low this year. I wonder why. Probably because all the people that normally they would say died of the flu, they're now saying died of COVID. That's the only explanation. Or suddenly did the flu become a non-starter? Did the flu suddenly go away? I don't know. Nobody's dying of it anymore. They're all dying of COVID. Why are influenza deaths at an all-time historical low levels versus years past outside of standard deviation? Well, for the reason I just explained. Why are COVID-19 tests returning positive results on pawpaws and animals? Because the tests are flawed. That's why. Not all of them. Not all of them are flawed. There is a company in the U.S. and they go by the name of, their call sign on the stock market is CODX. I think it's Co-Diagnostics. Their test is 100% accurate, 99.99% accurate. But no, they'd rather go with these other tests that come from China and so forth. You test animals, you test fruit, you test whatever. You test a fruit fly, it's going to come back positive for COVID. Anyway, and if this is not bad enough, there is a rabbit pandemic happening. Have you heard that? Well, I'm going to be covering it in the news, but I don't think I'll be able to get to the news tonight. But tomorrow we'll talk about the rabbit pandemic. I'm not kidding. I wish I was. I'm not. You can't make this stuff up. So why are COVID-19 tests returning positive results? Well, that's what they want. Why are select swing states undergoing heavy quarantine extensions? Well, because they want to keep it locked down, because they're swing states. They're very, very important to the Democrats because they're swing states. So we got to make sure that the people in those states are terrified of this virus. We've got to keep everything locked down because that will give a really good excuse for mail-in ballots. which will allow the Democrats to cheat and win, which is how they usually win, right? Why are possible treatments, cures being prevented and attacked? Well, we've discussed that earlier. Testing, tracing, and isolation. That's Pelosi quote. Testing, tracing, and isolation. Well, I wish someone would put her in isolation. Seriously. Forever. All right, and Lisa Mae Crowley says Pelosi encouraged people to come to Chinatown. De Blasio encouraged subway travel. Health experts were against travel bans. Democrat governors sent sick patients to nursing homes. CDC conflating COVID-19 deaths with other causes to inflate death toll to push fear. Dr. Birx, the intent is, if someone dies with COVID-19, we are counting that. Yes, she did say that. Faulty test kits suspected. Swing states need extended shutdowns to force mail-in voting. Fauci knows the drug works. Mainstream media blitz, no benefit, more deaths. Remember when we looked at that and the headlines everywhere were no benefits, more deaths? They don't want everyone cured. Testing, tracing, treatment, and isolation equals control. And let's look at Sun Q2. He says, we are in unprecedented times. Can the employment rate come back by November? Will Americans see through this for what it truly is and realize it is the Dems who are trying to destroy the country? Dems have one goal in mind: win 2020 presidential election at all costs. They will exterminate half the country if that's what it takes. They will do whatever it takes to maintain power, to cover their crimes, and to continue their wicked and evil bloodlust and rape of our world. These people disgust me. Well, Sun Q2, they disgust me too. Absolutely. They have no value for human life at all. They have no conscience. They have no moral compass at all. Now, we are on drop 4-2-4-8, and we are still on May 15th, trying to catch up here. Speak Up San Diego supervisor challenges the California governor's stay-at-home order. And let's look at this. And this is, well, I've clipped it out here. San Diego County Supervisor says 6 of 194 confirmed deaths are pure, solely CV deaths. So what are the others? There's only 6 out of the 194 that are pure, solely CV deaths, meaning they didn't have comorbidities. They didn't have, heart disease or this or that, or obesity or diabetes or whatever, any comorbidities at all. They died simply of the virus. Only 6. The supervisor of San Diego County, California, is pushing back against Governor Gavin Newsom's stay-at-home order, arguing that only 6 of the county's 194 recorded CV deaths are pure, solely CV deaths. We've unfortunately had 6 pure, solely CV deaths, 6 out of 3.3 million people. San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond said in an interview this week, according to the San Diego Tribune, what number are we trying to get to with those odds? It's incredible. We want to be safe and we can do it, but unfortunately, it's more about control than getting the economy going again and keeping people safe. Well said. San Diego County Public Health Officer Wilma Wooten disagreed with Desmond, who had emphasized that many of the patients were individuals with pre-existing conditions. Their life is no less valuable than someone's life who does not have underlying medical conditions, she said. That is not just San Diego. This is how this is done throughout the entire nation in terms of identifying who has died of COVID-19. Desmond responded to Wooten saying that any loss of life for any reason is worth preventing, but added that clearly those with underlying circumstances are the most valuable. I believe we can keep people safe and responsibly open our businesses. A study published by the Journal of the American Medical Association in late April concluded that 94% of coronavirus patients in New York City hospitals suffered from pre-existing conditions. His comments come as states across the country are debating how to classify CV deaths in hospitals. Polls show that people are growing skeptical about the death counts being released by their local governments. Coroners in Pennsylvania and Colorado have expressed frustration with the way CV deaths are being tallied, and White House CV Task Force Response Coordinator Deborah Birx said that the official death toll could be inflated by 25%. There is nothing from the CDC that I can trust, Birx reportedly said. Fellow task force member Dr. Anthony Fauci said he believes the number is being underreported, and she believes it's being overreported because she believes that it's inflated by 25%, while Dr. Fauci, whom we can't trust as far as we can throw, believes that it's being underreported. Right. Okay. Well, let's come back up here. And Q says, think for yourself. Trust yourself. Your voice matters. Knowledge is power. Q. And Lisa Mae Crowley said, he nailed it. We've unfortunately had 6 pure, solely CV deaths. 6 out of 3.3 million people. We want to be safe, and we can do it, but unfortunately, it's more about control than getting the economy going again and keeping people safe. All right, and let's come down here. To the next one, and here we are, drop 4249, peace for the storm, have faith in God. Well, I could not have said it better myself. Have faith in God, Mark 11:22. And, oops. Drop 4250, still on May 15th, catching up. POTUS, vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. Good for him. And Zeke Miller, who he links to here, says, Trump, vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. Good news. See, I think Trump knows. He knows. He knows what the deal is. He knows what's going on. The man's not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. It's time to end the horror show. It's time to stand, lead by example. Enough have seen, domino effect, note who wears a mask and who does not. Q. And you've seen all the video of the press people wearing a mask, and then of course as soon as the cameras are off, or they think the cameras are off, they remove their mask. All for show. All for show. And it says, these doctors know masks can help prevent sick people from spreading the virus. All who come in close contact with POTUS are tested. None of them are sick. Masks not needed. Only worn to push the fear propaganda. And notice, POTUS has never worn a mask. POTUS and military, no masks. And I've noticed that myself. And I've thought, you know, if Trump really believed in the whole mask scenario, he'd be wearing one, wouldn't he? Because he'd want other Americans to save lives, but he's not. That says a lot to me, a lot. And Sun Q2 says, I'm with you, Q. We stand with POTUS. We are ready to fight back and push back against tyranny. Whatever it takes, boss, lead the way. We're coming up fast behind you. I like that. And we're moving along now to the next. And we are on drop 4251, still on the 15th of May. And we've got a link to Fox News. And Q says, it's right in front of you. It always has been. All right. And instead of going out there, I've clipped this. And it says, Nevada, vote by mail primary stirs fraud concerns as unclaimed ballots pile up. Something stinks here. Red flags are being raised about the all-male voting system being used in Nevada's most populous county ahead of the state's June 9th primary election, amid reports that thousands of ballots are being sent to inactive voters, fueling concerns about the possibility of voter fraud and ballot harvesting. Thousands of ballots have been sent out by the Clark County Election Department to inactive voters, those who have not voted in recent elections, a roster that can include people who either have moved or are deceased, and the envelopes are piling up in post office trays outside apartment complexes and on community bulletin boards in and around Las Vegas. The excess ballots have drawn complaints from local residents who worry that anyone could pick up a ballot off the street and cast a fraudulent vote, as well as from Republican Party officials in the state who see a nefarious motive behind the vote-by-mail system being employed by the Democrat-dominated Clark County Commission. Well, yeah. Interesting. And, you know, the other thing that makes me laugh is all these people are pushing vote by mail. But don't you think they would have less risk of getting infected if they go and they stand in line and they socially distant and they cast their ballot? Because think of it, there's people handling, there's the mail people that handle those ballots, there's other people that handle those ballots, and then you've got all these people that are handling these ballots. You don't know who's infected and who isn't, and sending them back in. To me, that's more dangerous. I don't know why they're not taking that angle. I don't know why Trump is not taking that angle, really, because to me, it creates more of a problem by mailing it in. I mean, seriously, I wouldn't want to have to go through all those ballots. I guess you could wear gloves, but seriously. Okay, so there's that. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, thus, the extended shutdowns. Thousands of ballots have been sent out by the Clark County Election Department to inactive voters, those who have not voted in recent elections, a roster that can include people who have either have moved or are deceased. Well, we know that is the favorite pastime of dead people, is voting. That's what they do. You know, really, they may not have voted their entire life, but once they die, I don't know what it is with dead people and voting, but that's what they do. That's the favorite pastime of dead people. Truly. I'm not joking. Check it out. How many dead people vote? It's amazing. And SunQ2 says, are people waking up to the fraud? Do they not see it? Mail-in ballot fraud is a reality. Fake news constantly tries to shift the narrative and call into question whether or not it's really a problem. Why do Democrats continue to call for mail-in ballot voting when there is overwhelming evidence of missing ballots and fraud? That's a very good question, SunQ2. Very good question. And we are now coming down to drop 4252, quarantine versus tyranny. And this is a post from May 9th. It says origin country of COVID, China. Origin city of COVID, Wuhan. How long was Wuhan on lockdown? 76 days. How long was the remainder of China on lockdown? Extended January 24th to February 9th, average 16 days. How long has the U.S. been on lockdown? 2 months or more in some places? No spread of COVID outside of Wuhan. How is it possible the source country of the virus, minus Wuhan, was on lockdown for only 16 days? Forecasted lockdown for California, New York, or Michigan? Well, they just keep extending it, don't they? Reconcile, logical thinking. Now, that was from May 9th, and come down further, and Q says, quarantine is when you restrict the movement of 6 people, right? Remember way back, they would quarantine people that had tuberculosis. They even had people with leprosy in there was a lepers colony in Louisiana near where I used to live. They used to, that's what they do. They quarantine people that are sick. You quarantine the sick, not the healthy. Anyway, tyranny is when you restrict the movement of healthy people. And that's where we're at right now. tyranny. Like, isolate the sick, not the healthy. All right, and let's come down to the next, and we are on drop 4253. 4253. I'm sorry, I have my window open here because it's actually surprisingly warm today. It was almost 70, and it's cooling down a lot right now, but there's still a nice breeze coming through the window, so I have to check every now and then because of the fox out there, and I didn't leave it open enough for the fox to get in, because let me tell you, if he could, he would. He wants those cats, and he's not getting them. All right. I'll give him chicken, but I'm not giving him a cat. No way. I won't give him a live chicken now. It'll be a dead chicken. Okay. Acting DNI Grinnell announces changes to election security briefings. Now, this link is this. I've just clipped it out for us, and it says Acting DNI Grinnell announces changes to election security briefings. So this is the actual news release. It says ODNI news release number 17 to 20, May 15th, 2020. Director of National Intelligence announces changes to election security briefings. Now, it says Washington, D.C. Today, the ODNI announced that the U.S. intelligence community, IC, will lead all intelligence-based threat briefings to candidates, campaigns, and political organizations under the U.S. government's notification framework. Bill Avenina, the director of the National Counterintelligence and Security Center, will serve as the IC's leader to this critical effort. U.S. elections are the foundation of our nation's democracy. We are committed to supporting this administration's whole-of-government effort to secure the 2020 elections, said Avenina. This change represents an important improvement and simplification to the threat notification process. The IC will continue to work in partnership with the FBI and DHS to identify and integrate threat information, and Avenina and the elections team will act swiftly to deliver the timely and thorough assessment to those affected by potential malicious influence. So, this is good news, and ODNI changes to election security briefings. This change represents an important improvement and simplification to the threat notification process, which we've already read. And down here, Sun Q2 says Democrats want election security briefings to come through either the FBI or Federal Elections Committee. The FEC is staffed with career deep staters amid resulted in an intel leak back in March, POTUS having DNI oversee and control the flow of intel bases on threats. So this is a very, very important announcement and an important change. Okay, so now we are on 4254. 4254. All right, New Jersey Governor Murphy announces mail-in voting for July 7th primary. And there's a link to Twitter, and I've clipped it out here. Governor Phil Murray, breaking, our July 7th primary will be a primarily vote-by-mail election. All registered Democrat and Republican voters will receive a postage-paid vote-by-mail ballot. All unaffiliated and inactive voters will receive a postage-paid vote-by-mail ballot application. Now, over here, Q says, is this about the virus or the election? It's always been about the election. The truth is right in front of you. Yes, it is. And if it was any plainer, it would bite our nose right off. All right. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, New Jersey rigging their primary? All unaffiliated and inactive voters will receive a postage-paid vote-by-mail ballot application. They will all vote, too. However Dems want them to vote. They will all vote, too. However Dems want them to vote. Yeah, exactly, because fraud. Mainstream media lying regarding most Americans favor mail-in voting. They lie like rugs. Like rugs they lie. Absolutely. And now, we are on drop 4255, 4255. And we have a video here, and it says, where we go one, we go all. So let's look at this. And it is a link to Space Shuttle launch. This is
90 seconds and counting.
This is 3 minutes, and I'm not going to play all of it, so let's...
12, 11, 10.
That's it.
And liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Look at the power in
To the
that.
space station, paving the way for future missions.
Amazing. It really is fascinating, if you ask me. I mean, I think it would be terrifying to be in that. I really do, but imagine the engineering that goes into that. It's astounding.
Solid rocket booster separation confirmed. Guidance now converging. Discovery's onboard computers commanding the main engine nozzles to swivel, aiming the shuttle for its precise target in space for main engine cutoff.
You'd wonder who came up with the idea of going into space and how they did that, because really that is an engineering marvel as far as I'm concerned. But let's go back and see what Q is trying to tell us with this. And what does he say? It says, shuttle launch video countdown is a go. And that's interesting. Countdown is a go. So I don't think he's talking about necessarily the launch there, but I could be wrong. Let's see what Lisa Mae Crowley has to say. So cool to watch these launches today during USSF flag ceremony. POTUS announced development of hypersonic missiles 17 times faster, yes, 17 times faster than what we have today. Not sure if related, but Q previously posted a link explaining NASA launch countdowns and holds. The link posted today has a countdown and liftoff with no holds. Not sure if this is an indication that all systems are go. That's how I interpret it, is that all systems are go. I mean, yes, they're talking about the shuttle launch and so forth, and of course, POTUS was talking about these new hypersonic missiles that are 17 times faster. Interesting that he used 17 times faster, not 16, not 18 times faster, 17 times faster. And I think that this is an indication that the countdown to what's coming is a go. It's on. There's no holds barred now. It's on. So that's how I interpret it. I could be wrong, but that's how I interpret it. And this from SunQ2, he says T minus 17 seconds, 17 seconds into video, 17. Q shows launch of Space Shuttle Discovery 9 years ago, celebration of Space Force new flag. Now, I don't know what he means there by the celebration of Space Force flag, but I'll just pretend I do. No, I already told you I don't. So there you go. Can't even pretend at this point. I'm just too darn honest. That's the problem. Okay, now we are finished with May 15th and we are on to May 17th. So what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to break and I'm going to get this uploaded so that I can just continue on with what I have for the 17th. If that's all right with you guys, I think that's what I'll do because we're already about an hour in. Let me see here. We are, oh no, we're only at 49 minutes. We're at 49. All right, so let's go back here. And maybe I will venture into the 17th a little bit because, yeah, might as well. I do want to get us completely caught up tonight, and I'm committed to that. So here we go. All right, the countdown. We are at step 3. Now, notice they're talking about the countdown in the last from the 15th. And then when Q picks up, he's talking about the countdown. We are at step 3. Well, what are the steps? We've got a link to Maria Bartiromo that we're going to be looking at in a minute. And so week 1 was Flynn, DOJ dismissed. So the DOJ dismissed charges against Flynn. And they should have been dropped at that point by the judge because they were dropped by the agency that was doing the charging of Flynn. So Sullivan should have, at that point, dropped it, but he didn't. So Flynn, DOJ dismiss, week 1. FISA, unmask, declass, public, select dates, week 2. Classified 1 to 99, week 3. You are here. We are in week 3 of this countdown. There are 10 weeks on this countdown. We are on week 3. So fascinating. And Sun Q2 says, big week ahead. Q says first week was DOJ General Flynn dismissal. Second week was D-class of who unmasked General Flynn. This coming week, we will see the D-class 1 to 99. Whether that's documents or people or indictments, we shall finally see, because, you know, it keeps coming up. And I know I keep saying, I don't know what this actually refers to. Is it people? What is it? So we're going to finally find out this week. And let's go take a look at the link that Q is wanting us to look at here. And it says, this is from Maria Bartiromo, Donald Trump, unmasking of Flynn is greatest political scam in history of U.S. Trump unmasking of Flynn is greatest political scam in history. President Trump sits down with Sunday Morning Futures anchor Maria Bartiromo to discuss the Michael Flynn unmasking. Now, I'm not going to play that. I don't know how long it is, but we don't have time to, it's 9 minutes. So it's out there. If you want to take a look at it, just look up Maria Bartiromo and Trump, and it'll come right up. Okay. Now, let's go back, because we can, and we will. All right, so that, to me, is a very, very interesting post right there, the countdown. And let's look at this. Drop 4257, Snowden document pages for understanding future events. Snowden document pages for understanding future events. Now, Q left a link, but I can't get to that link because so many people tried to get out to it, it crashed it. So I just get like a 401 error whenever I try. But Q is telling us where to look. He's saying page 20, page 21, page 22, and page 23 for future events understanding. By the way, I'm going to tell you this. I don't have definitive evidence, no, but I have it on very good authority that Snowden is on U.S. soil and is safe. And there is a picture of that. Now, I am hoping to be able to get that picture from the person that told me about it, but this person so far has been accurate, and doesn't mean that he's accurate this time, but I'm just saying he's got a pretty good track record. So it's very possible, probably more than possible. Okay, but let's come back to this. Now, this is Sun Q2, and he said Q links to Homeland Security, Digital Library, and references page numbers, but it looks like the website has too much traffic and is overwhelmed. This is a testament to how many people are following Q. These particular pages will help us with future understanding. I've been busy, but will dig dig deeper later into the Snowden docs, clearly Homeland was trying to mask the fact that Snowden worked for the CIA. I think that's the main takeaway. Now, I'm going to have to wait for a few days until traffic on this calms down, and then I will go out and look at it, and anything I find, I will let you guys know. All right. But I can't take you somewhere where I can't get to myself. So I don't know what's happened there, but all right. Now, this is drop 4258, 4258, and Trump. We have a lot of information on Wuhan lab, and it's not good. All right. And we have a link to a Twitter, and we're going to go out there in a minute. And Q says public versus matters of national security. Q. Let's go see what he wants us to take a look at. Okay. Trump, we have a lot of information on Wuhan lab, and it's not good. President Trump sits down with Sunday Morning Futures anchor Maria Bartiromo to discuss the role Wuhan lab. Now, this would be very interesting, but of course we can't listen to it because it's too long. But, well, maybe we can't even get out to it. Here we go. Don't know how long this is.
Breaking news this morning on a story that we have been following. A professor at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland has been arrested over his alleged financial ties to China. This just days after the FBI sounded the alarm on China's attempts to steal coronavirus research. A professor at the University of Arkansas was arrested on similar charges last week. And then in January, Harvard's chemistry chief was charged with failing to disclose that he, too, was being paid by the Chinese Communist Party. 2 weeks ago, Senator Tom Cotton told us that the CCP was trying in many ways to steal medical data from the United States to try and come up with a vaccine for COVID-19 before the United States. My sit-down with President Trump included this. We discussed IP theft and the pandemic's impact on his relationship with China and President Xi Jinping. Secretary Pompeo said that he has strong evidence that it did come from the virology lab. We've been reporting this every Sunday, by the way, from early on. You also said that you saw evidence. Can you tell us anything about the intelligence?
No, but we have a lot of information, and it's not good. But you know the worst of all, whether it came from the lab or came from the bats it all came from China, and they should have stopped it. They could have stopped it at that source. I call it the source. Right there.
They made a decision to allow it to escape its borders.
I don't know if they made the decision, but it got out of control. I think more likely it got out of control.
Senator Cotton said that they didn't want the Chinese economy to contract 20% and the rest of the world to contract 2%.
So we were beating them very badly before this. We were beating them between the tariffs and other things we were doing. And we were going up, and they were having a very bad year. They were having the worst year they've had in 56 years.
He had
this
Hong
is
Kong
before.
protesters on the street.
And they weren't well, and even beyond that. And we were really doing well. And that is a theory. But here's what I know for sure. They didn't allow this whole thing. They didn't allow people to go into China, but they did allow them to go out to the world, including the United States. That's why Europe is a mess. That's why, look at these countries. Russia's having a hard time. Everybody's having a hard time.
So will it get worse for those countries, do you think?
Yeah, it's for some of them. Some have just started the process. We're getting toward the end of the process.
You know, so they downplayed the disease. They downplayed the virus. At the same time, they're allowing international travel. 5 million people leaving Wuhan, going to Italy, going to the United States. Then they start cornering the market on protective equipment, even though China is already the largest producer of this stuff.
That's not the big thing. Look, the big thing is they should have never let this happen. So I make a great trade deal, and now I say it just doesn't feel the same to me. The ink was barely dry, and the plague came over, and it doesn't feel the same to me.
Are they going to renege on it? They're not going to buy the $250 billion, are they?
They will buy $250 billion. They said somewhere I see they'd like to renegotiate the deal. We're not going to renegotiate. Look, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that particular subject right now.
Have you spoken to Xi Jinping?
I have a very good relationship, but right now, I don't want to speak to him.
Because, Senator Cotton was saying maybe we should be limiting the amount of visas that we give to students who want to study things like quantum computing.
There are many things.
And AI.
There are many things we could do. We could do things. We could cut off the whole relationship. Now, if you did, what would happen? You'd save $500 billion if you cut off the whole relationship. Look, at what point does it, and I've said this for years, I said it with other countries also. China's not the only country ripping us off. At NATO, where we defend Europe for nothing, by the way, essentially nothing, I was able to get them to pay hundreds of billions of dollars more. My biggest fan in the world, Secretary Stoltenberg.
He has said that to me on the show, actually.
He's been there a long time. He said nobody's ever gotten, we were paying more and more, they were paying less. So you have to see the chart of what they pay. So we are defending Europe, and then they're taking advantage of us on trade. It's all one way, and it was all turning, and it is all turning around.
And you pulled back the money.
But we've been proven to be right. Yeah, I pulled back.
You pulled back the money from the thrift fund. They wanted to put 10% of the thrift fund into MSCI index that was Chinese companies, $50 billion.
Yeah, I pulled it back.
Will you go one step further and force that Chinese companies have to follow accounting rules if they want to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ?
We're looking at that very strongly, but on the thrift fund, it's run by the Obama appointments, right? And we said, you got to do this, and we're going to find out whether or not they're going to do it very soon. And if they're not, we're going to replace them very quickly. And we are looking at your second part of your question. We're looking at that.
Because Chinese companies like an Alibaba, any Chinese company, they're listed on the New York Stock Exchange. They don't have to report their earnings the way an American company does.
Pretty amazing. But here's the problem with that. Look, I hate to say it, but let's say we do that, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to move their listing to London or someplace else.
It's true.
You see? Let's say you want to get tough. And you're going to do, everyone wants to be a tough guy. Look, I'm the toughest guy. But what happens is, so we say, you're going to do this, and you're going to follow the rules of the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. What do? They say, okay, we'll move to London or we'll go to Hong Kong.
Every time I see him speak, I just am struck by how smart that man is, and he is. I don't know why people seem to think that he's an idiot, because he's anything but. Anyway, let's go back here. Whoops.
Story that we have been following.
Hang on here. All right, let's go back now. And Sun Q2 says, what's been made public about Wuhan and CV is limited compared to what we know. Most of what we know is classified due to it being a matter of national security, but will be declassified at the appropriate time. Perhaps we will see some of this info declassified next week. Perhaps the playbook of the deep state as relates to the CV will be declassified to some degree. And this is by In the Matrix. He says, Anon's notice, this is a screen cap from today's Marie Bartiromo Sunday Morning's Future. Senator Kennedy paused to take a big swig of his coffee. Notice anything on the bottom of his mug? Yes, there was a Q on the bottom of his mug. I should have got that screen capture, but I didn't. Yeah, very, very, very interesting. So I'm going to stop there. Now, I'm not done for the night. I am going to come back and I'm going to get us caught up with the rest of May 17th and May 18th. So that's what we're going to be doing. Next video, I'm going to get this uploaded so you guys can watch it at your leisure, and I will be working on the next video. All right, guys. Well, you guys, I hope you come back for the second part. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys stay safe, take care, and please keep seeking the truth. The truth will set you free. Good night, guys.